bow, you know? Okay, so what is opportunity cost in that example that we gave about going to Fort Lauderdale for spring break? Now, if you missed that last class, a couple of you missed that last class, a couple of you, you know who you are. It's your responsibility to catch up. Well, actually, hopefully, ideally over the weekend, so you know what we're talking about here. How many of you have read the chapter?
Which one?
Chapter 1. You did read the chapter. Very good. Okay. I might quiz you every now and then. And sometimes I throw out something which I'm not going to say anything yet. Okay. So the key to using the concept of opportunity cost correctly lies in recognizing precisely what taking a given action prevents us from doing. Remember what happened. What happened? You ended up going to Fort Lauderdale. That was your decision you made instead of be the best man in your cousin's wedding in Boston. That was the example. So because that was the opportunity cost. You can only do one, but not the other. So the third pitfall we want to move into very quickly is about sunk cost. What does it mean by sunk?
It's the cost that you can't get back.
Oh, very good. I like that. Who said that? Petrius. I got you right this time. Very good. I like that. That's a wonderful definition. You cannot get it back. It's not recoverable. Sunken ship, you heard about it. That's it, gone. So the only cause that should influence a decision about whether to take an action are those that we can avoid by not taking the action. And that usually is a marginal cost. We're going to look at example. On the other hand, sunk cost is a cost that's beyond recovery at the moment that you're making that decision. Now remember, bring your textbook. How many of you have your textbook today? Yeah, wave it. Say, I have it, right? Very good. All right, because I'm gonna ask you to be active and turn to the pages every now and then to get your class participation as much as possible. So let's look at this example. Now, in this example, we want to look at, let me turn to my pages here. How many of you like to go to all-you-can-eat buffet? Why is that?
It's all you can eat.
All you can eat, just pay one amount, right? Even though it's lousy food, cheap food, it doesn't matter because, it's cheap, so. Do we have a new person here today, by any chance? You have never seen me before? This is the first time? Nobody, very good. I thought the class was closed. We're missing somebody, yes. He's not here. Mr. Gilson. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna give that as an example, all you can eat restaurant, and the price is $5. Okay, and that's not too bad, plus tax, all that stuff. And let's just say that you walk in today, and then the owner of the house, the restaurant greets you at the door and say, "Hello, JB, right? Not BJ, right? JB, got it. JB, today's your lucky day." You say, "What? How? Why?" Some people are very inquisitive. They start throwing out all the how, why, what. It's on the house because you're the lucky person. So that means they paid for you. So nobody wants to do the walk? Thank you. I gave you a chance to walk. Okay, so 20 randomly selected guests will get lunch on the house, free. Very good. So now we ask this question. If all the diners are rational, how many of you remember what's the definition for rational? Go back and look at it. You could explain it in your own words if you want. What's rational? Yes, Hunter, yes.
A person that takes an action that leads to an economic surplus.
Oh, very good. If it is B, positive, not negative, right? Okay, very good. If all the diners are rational, will there be any difference in the average quantity of food consumed by these two groups? What two groups are we talking about? Number one, the one who to get to be picked for one of the 20, okay? And then number 2 is a group that you just have to pay as per normal. Okay, so how many of you say yes, there is a difference? Raise your hand. Try and get you to exercise.
Yeah.
Just, like some blood pumping into your body, like raise your hand. One person okay about. Some of you are you raising your hand or you just scratching your chin or what? Come on, you see a show of hand. How many of you say the first one, yes, there should be a difference? Okay, we got about 3 people. How many of you say B, there should not be any difference? I'm gonna raise your hand. Very good, confidence, I like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, before I give the answer, you will know the answer very quickly. The correct answer is B, okay? After the first helping, and this is explaining why, because there is such a thing called sunk cost. Hint, for your homework problem, hint. Okay, that's it, gone. After the first helping, all diners are faced with, should I go back for another helping, right? Everybody asks that question. Yeah, the first plate you pile up, like a big ice cream cone, and then pretty soon, it's all gone. So I'm sure you asked that question, should I go back for the second? Right, everybody face it. Regardless of what status you are, whether you came in for free or whether you're one of the paid customer, yes, if the marginal benefit is greater than marginal cost. Remember we talked about that the other day? We have a name for it. What is it? Look back to your notes. Tell me if you know it. What do we call it? We have a name for it. That we see.
Cost benefit.
Very good. Cost benefit principle or criterion. And let's make it a little bit more precise. Your marginal benefit should be at least greater than marginal cost. Okay, so when making a decision on the second helping, $5 is considered a sunk cost. And this is a back door you can slip out. But we're not assuming that, okay? Once you get in, you either have to pay upfront or they lock the back door so no one can slip out, So when you finish eating, you have to pay that $5. So what we're saying here is because of that, $5 is the sunk cost for those people who are paid. The paying customer. Like for the other party, it's the same, it's on the house anyway, it's already been paid for. So for both groups, actually, the extra cost and another helping is 0. Then the next thing to consider is the marginal benefit. So, and then we're assuming that, the marginal benefit or another helping for on average for any given person should be more or less the same. So for both groups, so no difference in consumption in this case. If you need more explanation, it's in the book. So basically what this is saying is we are using this concept of sunk cost to try to explain how people make decisions. In this case, we say that there's no difference because, of the sunk cost. It doesn't matter whether the $5 come from your pocket or $5 come from the owner's pocket. Basically, the marginal cost of second helping is the same because $5 is the sunk cost. However, the marginal benefit, we also say, on average, is the same for anybody. We're not, I think we're assuming everybody's sort of like same size, same gender, things like that. I know in reality there is a difference, but we're assuming that marginal benefit, because there's a capacity to how much you could eat, right? You can only go back for maybe about, 3 helping. How many of you go for 4th and 5th? Some of you do, but that's okay because the first one is like tiny, right? You're experimenting. The sushi, wait, I don't think so. Don't go back for a second. Yes, question? Yes.
What about is there a factor that messes with, I don't know how to say it. Is there a factor that deals with the fact that one side has to pay while the other people do not? I think
Oh,
like
you
the
could do
people
all
who
kinds
have
of,
to,
yeah, you could do all kinds of control experiments. In fact, if you read the book, the psychology people, behavioral economics people would love to do the experiment on something like that. You turn on one control variable, turn off the other one. So now we are making all sorts of assumptions, all things being equal on the average. So now if you throw in some of these control variables like, what if everybody is of different sizes, different genders, and what if they just come out from a football game, all these football players, then yeah, there might be a difference. So you have to take assumptions very carefully.
well, not exactly changes in sizes or age or
Okay.
whatever.
What do
But,
you have in mind?
When I say the fact that one
Yep.
side has to pay and the other doesn't, let's say someone who has to pay $5 or even more than that for the buffet, they eat and they're feeling kind of full, but no one wants to spend some kind of money and only have one plate and an all-you-can-eat buffet. They would say, I want to get my money's worth, so they might go back up for more. Versus someone.
Well, that's it,
who got free,
we're assuming that everybody
say-
wants to go back for a second, right? And so the assumption has to be clear. So the main thing that we're focusing on here is the sunk cost. That, everybody pay $5. And if it is on a house, it's also 5. So we're not going beyond that, like if it is more than 5, then you want to have it worth it. I think even if it is 10, it will be the same. Unless you want to do a little bit of psychological experiment, which you could read, the textbook gives you a little bit more explanation on that. So good question, thank you. I like people who ask questions like that. Although it shows out of class, but that's fine, at least you ask questions. Or you could ask me after the class, okay? Questions are welcome. Okay, next one is very important because this is microeconomics class. We're gonna get to the difference between MC, marginal cost, versus average cost. I'm assuming that most of you have done high school math and know what is average. Okay, so we have to make a distinction between these two kinds of concept. Number one, average cost or benefit. Number two, marginal cost or benefit. So now everybody know what is NASA? Should NASA expand the example in your book? Expand the space shuttle program from 4 launches per year to 5. So that's the example. We're going to do some calculation, and this calculation is going to be important for the rest of the semester because we are dealing with marginal concept. Remember that I mentioned the other day in class that every time you mention the word marginal in economics, that is a time to wake up because the word marginal is a very, very important term. There's another term that's also equally important, which we deal with in chapter 3. It's called equilibrium. Okay, now total benefit for 4 launches in this example is 24 billion. So the average benefit will be 6 billion per launch. How do you get 6? Anybody? 6 is the average. So you take total benefit, which is 24 billion, divided by the quantity, which is 4, and that's how you get 6. So everybody got that? Second part, the total cost for 4 launches. So your average cost will be, again, taking 20 billion, which is the total benefit for 4 launches divided by 4. You get 5 billion per launch. Okay, ready for the table? Coming up. Oh, not yet. Okay, let's do some definition very quickly. I thought we did that already. That must be in the other class. So I want to define very quickly what is marginal benefit and marginal cost. This should be in your book. If you find it, help us to find it. Tell us what page it is.
That's 23.
I'm sorry? 23. Very good at the bottom. Could I get a volunteer to read marginal cost and another one to read marginal benefit?
Marginal cost is the increase in total cost that results from carrying out one additional unit of an activity.
Okay, go ahead and read marginal cost since you're at it already.
Oh, I wrote it wrong. Wait, which one did you want me to read?
Did you read marginal cost earlier? Read the next one.
Okay. The marginal benefit is the increase in total benefit that results from carrying out one additional unit of an activity.
Okay, thank you, Haley. So, see, I underlined the word additional. This means extra. So that's what marginal means, extra. Okay, now we're going to see the difference. Now you see these stars here? This means 5 stars, like Hilton Hotel. And it's very, very, not expensive, but very important. So these are some of the hints I gave students that this concept of important, you could expect that on your test. Okay, so that's in your book as well. If you have your book, refer to it on page 23. We want to look at example now. 4 columns. This is also in your book, one of the tables. First column show you the number of launches from 0 all the way to 4. Second column show you the total cost of what? Of 1 launch, it's 3 billion, and then 2 is 7 billions, all the way down to 5, you got 32 billions. Whoops, don't forget that 20 right there. I don't know what happened there. Screen is too big, but so 4 launches would be 20 billion. And we knew that from previous slide. Okay, what about average cost? How do we get this column? Anybody? Like, for example, how do we get 3? You take the total cost divided by the number of units. So 3 divided by 1, you get 3. Got it? Okay, come down all the way to, how do you get 4? Take total cost of
12 divided by 3.
12 divided by 3 launches, you get 4. Very good. So far, so good. That's how you do the average. Now, the next one is extremely important. The marginal cost. How do you compute marginal cost? I'm going to give you an equation. Please write this down. This is important. Marginal cost of the first unit. This is how you calculate it. You take the total cost of 1 unit minus total cost of 0 unit. So you could see the patterns. The next one, marginal cost of the second unit will be, take the total cost of 2 units minus the total cost of the previous one, which is 1 unit. Now, somebody help me with the third one. The marginal cost of the third unit will be? Anybody? If you want to do it, raise your hand. Okay, Henry, go ahead.
Total cost of the third unit minus total cost of the second.
Of 2 units, not so much
Yeah.
the second. This is third, but this is 3 units and 2 units. Not the second and the third, because total cost of all 3 units. Okay, got it. So let's look at the first one. So how do we get 3? So 3 will be your MC1, the marginal cost of the first unit. So that will be the total cost of 1 unit, which is 3, got it? Minus 0. We get 3, right? Simple math. You don't need your calculator, but if you have it with you, that's good. Be ready. Okay, the next one, could I get help? Fill in a number, okay? Go in. I'll go,
It's
son.
gonna be 7.
7?
Wait, no, not the answer. But TC.
Yeah,
second
give me the
unit,
working. Total cost of 2 units will be?
It'd be 7.
Right, 7 minus 3, so you have?
4.
4 is the answer. Very good. So that's how you get that second unit. Got it? Okay, what about the next one? The next one will be you take 12 minus 7 to get 5. Alright? And so on and so forth. What about the 12th one? The last one?
20.
Oh, we might as well do it all. Can't believe this. Okay, what's this number here? So this will be, somebody give me that, fill in a number. Okay, volunteer?
20.
32.
What's DC for here?
24.
20. The other one is?
7. 12.
And?
8.
So you got 8, right. Then the last one will be TC 5. Is everybody understanding what's going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. TC 5, this will be 32 minus 20, so you get 12. Okay, that's important. There will be at least one question on the test that we ask you to calculate that. So write it down. Every time I drop you hints like that, take it, receive it. otherwise it's gone. Okay, very good. So now we're asking, we haven't solved the problem yet, so far we're just explaining how to derive all the numbers, okay? So now let's solve the problem. We're asking a question, what is the optimal number of launches? And then you say, whoa, what? So let's go back to cost-benefit principle, what does it say? Okay? Carol, do you remember? Marginal benefit greater than or equal to marginal cost. So we're gonna use that, apply it. Okay, you say, well, we need more. We need something more like, well, yeah, we got a marginal cost in that last column. We need marginal benefit. So we're giving this assumption to you. This is a giveaway. A giveaway. So marginal benefit, we're assuming that is equal to your average benefit, which you flipped 2 slides beforehand. We had calculated that to be 6 billion. So in other words, we got this number. This is 6 billion. Okay. So now we are going to decide on the marginal cost. So let's apply. So if we look at it, we say, okay, now for the first unit, the marginal cost, the marginal benefit is greater than marginal benefit, right? Does it fulfill that equation? Yes. What about second one? Yes, because 6 is greater than 4. What about next one, 5? That's okay. 6 is greater than 5. What about the next one? We're not okay. So where do you stop? You stop right here. Draw a line here. Because that fulfills when marginal benefit is greater than marginal cost. The best one is when it is equal. So you get the closest one. So we know all 3 fulfill that, but you get the closest one, which is 5. Yes, Hunter?
I was just gonna ask, do we always assume marginal benefit is equal to average?
No.
I just.
We
this
give you
equation?
this assumption this time. A lot of time we ask you to calculate, yeah. Good question. Okay, so then we know that we stop at here, and that's not the answer yet, because we have to answer this question, what is the optimal number of launches? So go back, remember this is a marginal cost of the third unit. So the answer is?
2.
I'm sorry, the answer is?
2 launches.
One more time.
2.
The answer is 3. Because it's a third one. Not 2. The answer is 3. Now, the reason that you may get confused here, I have not pointed it out yet. I see why some of you say 2, because be very careful, zero in on this column. Did you see that they are not aligned with the rest of the rows? They're like in between, and this guy say, hello, I'm in between 0 and 1. This one say, hello, I'm in between these 2 rows. So because this is how you get your marginal cost between the 2 numbers here. So if you look at your book, I don't know if your book show it that way. So over the year, I tried to get my TDA to make sure that this does not align with the row, but it's in between the row. So this 4 should actually be a little bit lower down. Understand what I'm saying? So for that reason, the answer is 3. This number should actually be a little bit lower down. This one should be between these 2 numbers and down and down. I don't know what happened here. I think the images got screwed up. Well, refer to your book. Let's go to your book. See, your book is a little bit clearer, right? There it is, page 25. See that? 3, 4, 5, 8, 12. So if you pick 5, 5 is the third unit. So therefore the answer is 3, not 2. So if you just look at like the row like that, you tend to mess up. In fact, I don't agree with the book about their alignment. Yeah, I don't know why it's just like that. Let me see if I could show a little bit better like this. It's still the same. But I think you get my point, right? Everybody. Okay, very good. So again, this is your cost benefit test or criterion or what we call the principle. Next, I'm going to give 2 examples very quickly of what is economics. 2 types of economic principle that you will encounter throughout the semester. One is called normative economics, the other one is called positive economics. So remember, this is important, okay? If you could find more questions like that to practice, that would be good, maybe in your flash quiz or in your book. If you read the book, every time you say concept check, stop and do it, because these are applied question that normally the answers are given at the end of the chapter. So you could test it and see if you get it, if you understand it. Okay, so now we want to talk about the differences between normative versus, what's the other one? Positive economics. What's the difference between the two? Okay, now normative economic principle deal with, how people should behave. It's got a little bit of what ought to be, how desirable should it be. It's subjective. Unlike positive economic, which is objective. And this one would say what? Okay, there it is. It deals with appropriateness or desirability of an economic outcome or policy. In other words, you have some sort of subjective judgment, or to some extent opinion. We should increase the tax by 0.25%. That is considered a normative economic statement. But if you say, if we were to increase the tax by 0.125%, next year we would have collected 5.5 billion of tax revenue in return. Now that's positive economic, because you put in more number, you have more concrete example. You answer the what question. So this one is ought to, which is better. Okay, it is. Next, positive economic principle, the one on the right-hand side. It predicts how people will behave instead of should behave. You know exactly what will happen. Like the example I just gave. If you increase the tax rate by 0.125%, then next year we'll increase the revenue by such and such an amount. So to make statements or predictions concerning economic behavior, so this is a little bit more positive. A lot of time it throws out numbers. Okay? Answer the question of what is and what happened. So you have to answer the what question. The other question is more like judgment, should we do this, should we do that? Okay, so more, and that's just example. So the kind of question you can expect from a test we'll ask you next Monday would be example. Okay, for example, a person is more likely to take an action if its benefit rises and less likely if its cost rises. So this is quite concrete statement. And you could put it in some number, like if we start calculating economic surplus, and to see whether the number is positive or negative, you are definitely getting into positive economic statement, unlike the normative economic statement. Okay, a very quick summary about this chapter before I get to chapter 2. We talk about scarcity principle, and because you can't have everything, then you have to practice trade-off. Cost-benefit principle, that's what we've been talking about. Incentive, we haven't really talked about it that much. Learning economics through application. This is the last slide I have, and then I'm moving to chapter 2 very quickly. Basically what this slide is saying is, throughout the textbook, if you have read it, if you have not, you should start reading it. I know some of you don't like to read, but you should at least skim through it very quickly. When it comes to time for tests, hopefully you use the PowerPoint slides as review, not as the first time you are studying the material. PowerPoint slides is more for me, to explain the concept to you, but to get a little bit more in-depth, you really have to read the book. Most students I know, without even these, they read the book. Okay, and the best thing is read the book even before the instructor go over it. And then when I explain it, all this concept becomes clearer, and then you could ask better questions too. Okay, so that's about it. And I was going to say economic naturalisms.